All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is November 5th, 2025. My name, John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. A special shout out to all my paying subscribers. You guys rock. Thank you. I am honored you chose me to lead you. I'm honored that you find my content valuable. I'm blown away. Thank you so much. And I don't take that for granted. And I am grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you to all my people out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for subscribing, following, and my content. Thank you to anybody that shares my content. Kathy, Sarah Roasted, Bob Jordan, John Jordan. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to take a look at the markets today. Okay, see what we did. I made $1,800 with a 31K account. I'm trading 10% of my account value, all right, and that's being used not as a stop and not as market risk, but as cost basis wise. So you can see there my account was, see if we can get it up there. See what we got. All right, so here's the account. So I started today with, I'm just going to round it up to 31,000. So I started with 31,000. So 10%, I had 3,100 in order to risk based on the cost basis, 3,100, 10%. But I'm not, using a stop. I'm using it as cost basis. Now, if I put stop in there, it'd be a whole lot less as far as risk goes. So I use 31. My goal, obviously, is 1%. Okay, so that's $310. Okay, that's my goal. 1%. 1% of 31,000 is $310. So my goal is to make 1%. You can see I made 18. This is 1,600 now. I don't know why. They change it around on me. I don't know why. It was up to 1,800. And we can figure this out real quick. See what it actually is. All we got to do is grab the calculator and just add this stuff up, Okay, so 519 plus 848 plus 44 plus 421 minus 171 equals, it's 1661. So I made 1,600, not 1,800. So 1,600, that represents, well, if I'd have made 3,100, that would have been 10%. So this is 5%. So I made 5 daily goals today trading. I only trade SPY or QQQ mainly. I did go off the reservation today and pick up some Intel calls, and I'll show you why I picked up some Intel calls, because I saw something that looks exciting. Oh, here we are breaking down back to VWAP. I expect the bulls to come in and rescue this. By the way, Intel, I'm going to pull it up right here. At the time I bought it, we were, well, let me just grab one of the pictures here, and I'll block it off. Actually, I'll just use this photo. Okay, so when I bought it, it looked like, that's what it looked like there. Okay, see that uptrend? That's when I bought it. This is when I bought it, right there. Okay, so I had this uptrend. I saw price consolidating up near the highs, and you can see we had the breakout. Okay, and I said this thing. Oh, you can see what I wrote right here to everybody in the room. This thing looks ready to pop, and here we go. It popped up there. Okay, you can see, obviously see the resistance, and we popped up over it. So I'd like to see price pull back, J-hook off the top of the this resistance should now act as support because we're above it. So I'd like to see it J hook off of there. I can once again prove that it is support and go up to make some higher highs. So we'll see. So that's what I did today. Right there. So 5% is not bad. Remember, my goal is 1%. When you make 1% compounded daily after 70 days of trading, if you don't have any losing days, okay, you can double your account. Okay, so, but if you do, let's say you do 2% or 3%, okay, you're going to get there much faster. So here I did 10%, and the day before that I did, looks like we'll just call it 3%. All right, and then today I did another 5%. So you can see I can double my account relatively quickly. All right, when I'm doing more than 1%, and I make it look easy. Today was kind of easy. We had a nice clean setup. In the pre-market, we said, hey, we got a 10-minute uptrend, and I said to traders in the room here and in the video for the morning video that we got a 10-minute uptrend, and I'll be looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. And I clearly said I don't want any red candles. See that red candle? And I don't want any dojis or spinning tops or red candles or anything with more wick than body and tail. So here's our first 10-minute candle. I want you to see this because it's a nice candle. Let's pick it up right here. So let's pan over with this. So you can see we have a candle that instead of having more wick than body and tail, we have a candle that has more tail than body and wick, clearly showing me a bullish behavior right there, okay? And the very next 10-minute candle rises up and does a full-on green erases red right there. So if you don't understand the green erases red, I'm going to map it out for you right now. So price came from this high right here in the pre-market, from this high to this pullback low right here. Okay, you can see it. See the low right here. So we came from this high to this pullback low right there. Okay, so on the green erases red, okay, you'll see price goes from this low that we were just at. Remember, we were just at that low. All right, so then, and really just surpasses it. So where do I enter? Yeah, when the green erases the red right there. Okay, so see where green erases the red? So I take my arrow right there. That's where I'm going to enter. Right on that candle right there. So there's a 10-minute uptrend resuming. All right. And by the time we got to this candle, Tex had already made, I don't know, a couple daily goals already. It's amazing. The guy is fast. And I said we're going to pick off the lows of the 10-minute candles on the option. And I guess he took it seriously because when that candle triggered, he had already made a couple daily goals. Nice work, Tex. Really nice work. And so we got, see, that's only the second 10-minute candle. And we got some amazing traders in our room, all right? I just want to say that. We really have some super fantastic, amazing traders in the room. So it's, you could learn a lot from all of them, all right? And if you're out there in video land and you've never been in this room before, we've made a lot of changes, and I think a lot of them for the better. And I'm still open to new ideas all the time to help improve the room. So here's our 10-minute uptrend. I often digress. 10-minute uptrend right there. You can see the daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. So what is the makeup of the 10-minute uptrend? Well, it involves the 3 EMA and the candlesticks riding up on top of the 8 EMA, which is this white line right here. So that's a 10-minute uptrend. I like to see daylight between the 3 and the 8. Okay, so you can obviously see, we can see daylight between the 3 and the 8. So there's our 10-minute uptrend, and they're both pointed up, both exponential moving averages. That's what EMA stands for. Okay, so both exponential moving averages are pointed up. You can see. Then they consolidate right here. So we had consolidation. Now for me, everybody knows this in the room that I like to see more than 6 candles hold, more than 6 10-minute candles hold. If I see that, I have the assumption, and it's no guarantee, that they are committed to holding the higher high or the highs that they just made, and probably committed to going higher. Okay, so you can see on the 10-minute chart, 10-minute chart consolidated over to the right, and then guess what? Another breakout of green erases red right here. Another entry right over the top of this base right there. And you got a green erases red, and then another green erases red right there. Got the red candle pull back right there. And we got up to this high, and then we just consolidated over to the right. So there's SPY on the 10-minute. 3 little moves to the upside for the most of us. Tex was done right here, but I mean, he stayed in for a lot of this. But you can see we had a nice 10-minute uptrend that drove price from 676 clear up to 681. That's a $5 move. That makes it very easy to produce, I'm just going to say, 5 daily goals. All right, when you get a nice $5 move like that. When you get a $1 or $2 move, it becomes chop, and price really doesn't separate from VWAP. But you can see here, my favorite trade, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP right here. See, the VWAP is this brown line right here. And you can see the 8 begin to move further and further and further away from VWAP, which provides for a beautiful trade to the upside right here. Okay, so that's where we make our money, is when the 8 separates itself from VWAP, and you can see the wedge begin to grow in size in the mouth. This would be the mouth right here. You can see it just gets larger and larger as time goes on. The 8 separates itself from VWAP, getting further and further away. Okay, so that makes for a great trade. So we traded for that today. So nice 10-minute uptrend on SPY. I'm going to say QQQ. I'm going to say a lot of the Fab 5 had 10-minute uptrends. I'm just going to go visit QQQ. All right, so there's QQQ, 10-minute uptrend there. How about that? Is that not a beauty or what? All right, all the way up to 626. And you can see clearly, here's the green erases red. Red from the high to the pullback low. All right, if I got the drawing tools out and I found a green erases red, so from this high to this low right here. Okay, right there, you see the low. Okay, then green comes in, and you can see where green just wipes it out, like right there. And where's your entry? You can see the tops of this right there. So the entry is right there. Okay, right as green erases the high of this pullback right there. Nice entry, and ride it up for, I don't know how many dollars there. That one was, let's put the crosshairs on it. And with the crosshairs, you come up with, let's just say you wanted that candle to close, so you bought this one. All right, 620 up to 626. So $6 move on QQQ. Tech's on fire. I wonder if QQQ will surpass SPY. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? If QQQ wound up being more than SPY. So nice 10-minute uptrend. We traded this up until about 2:30, and then we went flat. And then you can see we're getting a VWAP pullback right now over here before the close. All right, so that's kind of what we traded today. And take this off, and I'll take this and move this over, and you can see what I traded. I had some puts, okay, and the market was bullish, so I lost money on my puts right there. Okay, so you can see I lost money on the puts. Let's move this all the way over. So here's puts. Lost some money on the puts. But on the calls, I did super fantastic. I just want to close this out. Hopefully I get it in time. Oh, yeah, okay, got it. All right, like it. All right, so you can see I traded the Intel calls right here. I showed you the breakout. Bottom right here, right at that spot right there. See, I bought them, and they rode up to there. So Intel calls, traded those. Traded some SPY calls. Again, 10-minute uptrend. So I'm buying the dips of the option candles. Okay, this would be the option candle. This would be the underlying security candle. Okay, so I'm buying the dips of the option candle and selling the highs. So you can see the blue dots represent the buys. The red dots represent the sells. So I'm buying the dips, selling the highs. And I continue to do that as long as my 10-minute uptrend is intact. Now, I'm going to show you what I do. It's kind of cool what I do. All right? Because I do this every day. All right? And you can barely see it, but I'm going to zoom in on it. Okay? This is what I call a grid of sell orders up top here. Okay? So I fan out. I've got 16 contracts long, and I fan out my grid of sell orders. So price runs into it. Okay? This is my option candle. Remember that. Okay, this is my option candle. Okay, and zoom back out. This is my underlying security candles up here. Okay, so this is the option candle. So I fan out a grid of sell orders up top, and I just let price run into it. Okay, all right. So I get the same bid and ask you got right up there. Just let price run into my grid of sell orders, and therefore triggering profits into my account. And then I place a grid of buy orders to reload. Now all I'm looking for is up here is my 10-minute uptrend still intact. The 3 right there, the yellow line is over the 8. So my 10-minute uptrend, see how it's still intact? All right, so as long as that's happening, I continue, all right, to fan out sell orders up top and buy orders underneath. So when price goes up, I get rewarded, and when price pulls back, I get reloaded. You can see price pulls back, you can see the blue buys, and then when price rises up, you can see the red sells. So it's a constant give and take, all right, all day as that 10-minute trend rises. So as long as that 10-minute trend is intact, I continue to farm out sell orders up top and buy orders underneath. Okay, I wanted you to see that so that you can understand how I trade. Yes, it is a lot of trades, okay? But I am also reloading, selling, reloading. This is how professionals really trade. Okay, this is how they really trade. Okay, the hold here and then sell it all up here. They trade like that also. Okay, but this is how I trade. Okay, so in 5 minutes it goes up, I sell. In 5 minutes it comes back, I reload. In 5 minutes it goes up, I sell. In 5 minutes it comes back, I reload. And you can see it's a constant up and down. Now, I get more movement than if I were to hold the whole thing until it got up to here. Okay, because if I was to do that, I would have to buy in the money options, which cost me more. All right, and there's a reason for the way that I trade and it's because I trade out of the money options. If I traded in the money options, okay, I would just buy here, and then I could hold it till it reached the peak and then sell it. Now you notice as price goes, as price goes up, notice we still get pullbacks in the option. Okay, that's the difference between trading in the money and out of the money. Okay, price continues to rise. Now, if I had traded in the money options, they would have some intrinsic value, and I wouldn't receive these big, deep pullbacks. I would get some pullback, but they would still maintain a certain level in there. Okay, so because of that, this is the nature at which I trade. As I go, because they're out of the money and they will expire, and they may even expire out of the money. Again, I put my sell orders up and my reload orders underneath. Okay, so I wanted you to see that because I trade much different than other people, but there's a reason for the way that I trade, and it's because of the product that I'm trading. And it is out of the money, and it's a 0 DTE, and it will expire, possibly worthless by end of day. All right, so you can see right here. Here's these are 1 DTEs. Okay, so I bought the lows, sold the highs. These are 1 DTE calls, also right here. I guess I got some more. I didn't realize I got some more. I'm out of these, by the way, now. I still have those. Oh yeah, I sold these short. Okay, so I sold these short for the reason was I knew that my 20 here would incur some downside in the pullback to VWAP. So I covered my short position right here just before close and captured $250 right there. See that? See the 250 I captured? And that was from price coming back with this price. So I didn't want this to ride down there without hedging it. So that was my hedge for the VWAP pullback. On the call orders here, made 848. Okay, so that's 600. These are the 680 strike. You notice we got all the way to 680. But look at closing time. Look where we are. We're not over 680 now. See, it's imperative. In order for them to be worth money, they have to be over 680, and we're not at closing time. So notice it goes up and pulls back. See how it goes up and pulls all the way back to worthless 1 penny right back here because there's no intrinsic value left because the strike price is 680 and we're under 680. So you can see that's the nature of the product that I trade, and there's a reason for that. Again, these are 0 DTE 680s. They would expire at 415 because there's 0 DTE options on the indices, and that'd be the SPY. So the SPY index options expire at 415, while security options expire at 4 p.m. So this is the nature in which I trade, and there's a reason for it because they will expire, probably worthless. So I just snatch and go. All right, so I just buy the lows and then I roll them out. Okay, I no longer buy these. I'm not interested in them anymore. They're trading up over $1. Okay, my sweet spot for trading is somewhere between 30 cents and $1.20. Okay, I can defend options in that area, but I don't have. Remember, I don't have a $100,000 account like I normally have. I'm only dealing with a $31,000 account. I start out with a 27. Okay, so I don't have the luxury of having a big account that I can work with bigger numbers. So I have to roll out of these, okay, and roll into something that's I'm more comfortable with because I got my small account. So I like anywhere between 30 cents and $1.20. That's to me, that's a sweet spot. I can defend those pretty good knowing the price action. All right, so again with the puts I lost 171. I showed you that. again, market did not go lower. It did in the post market. It went all the way down to 670. All right, but yet we opened up all the way back here. Of course, we put in an exhaustion candle right into support in the futures market. So if you didn't know that, I was prepared, and I told the people in the room that, you know, they put in an exhaustion candle right into support. Chances are we're in this 10-minute uptrend, that I will be buying this 10-minute uptrend. That's why I said I will be picking off the lows of the option candles in the calls right here as the market opens up. Okay, so it's kind of telling people what I'm doing. Of course, you know, Tex, you know, 10 minutes in, he's already got 2 daily goals. Nice going. Anyways, puts right there. I hedged these puts with a little bit here. I should have kept the hedge on, but I didn't expect SPY to rally this far. I kind of thought it would roll over right here, but it didn't, and it kept going, so I closed out my hedge for a small gain there. And then here's some more 0 DTEs. You can see where I got involved, like same time as Tex. He did much better than me. And you can see right here, I'm buying and I'm selling into strength. See, as price goes up, I sell into strength. So I'm buying the dips. Well, I said I'm going to pick off the lows of those candles. So you can see this is me picking off the lows of the candles and then selling into strength. Again, picking off the lows of the candles because I got a 10-minute uptrend and selling into strength. And then I rolled out of those into the other ones right here. 0 DTE 680 calls, okay? Because these got kind of pricey. You can see they got up to 248, all right? And it's hard to put together a large group of contracts when they're at 248 and I only have 10% to risk, okay? It doesn't leave me much room to accumulate a lot of contracts because I only have, I'm limiting myself to just 10% of my account value. So I only have 3,100 in which to use to buy contracts. All right, so because of that, I have to go out, and when they get pricey, like up here about $1.59, you can see I'm not interested anymore. So I got to go find something a little bit more in my price range that I'm more comfortable with defending right there. Okay, so there's how I made the money today. Okay, so let's go take a look. Enough of that. Let's go take a look at the markets. Okay, so SPY 10-minute downtrend into the close. Not liking that a whole lot. I'm hoping we recover and we find ourselves consolidating over consolidation sometime tomorrow. We'll see. All right, tomorrow morning, we'll see. So 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. Obviously, you got the candlesticks here, the 3 EMA underneath, okay, and the 8 EMA up here. So, and everything, the candlesticks, the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA underneath a falling 17 EMA. That's the green dots that turn to red dots because price is underneath it now. All right, and back to VWAP. See, we're no longer separating from the VWAP line. That's a moving average. Okay, we're no longer separating from that. Okay, we're actually pulling back to it, which kind of expected. All right, so there's SPY. 10-minute downtrend into the close. 2-hour, got ourselves a 2-hour uptrend. All right, now if I take the pre-market, post-market off, let's just see what it looks like with the 2-hour. Okay, the 3 EMA is still underneath. All right, it's more like bearish consolidation. With the post-market on, the 3 EMA is still underneath. But here it's kind of bullish consolidation, up and over to the right. Okay, so I'm just going to call it kind of flat, no trend. No uptrend, no downtrend. You know, tie goes to the house. You know, when you go to Vegas, the house wins when you get a tie. All right, so we're in a bear flag. So move down and over to the right. So really, I would be looking for the bears to maybe dominate tomorrow. We'll see what happens. All right. I expected a pullback. Let's just see if the bulls buy the dip like they did here. Okay, so they bought the dip here. Question is, will they buy the dip here? So we'll see what happens. 2 hour on the daily chart. What we had at one time was a bullish engulfing candle way up here, and I said, you know what, we're looking for follow through. Okay, we're ending the day, okay, without a bullish engulfing candle. Okay, see how this is the daily chart right here. You can see we've got actually we've got quite a bit of wick up there, much more than I expected. So we got an outside day, which is a higher high and a lower low. We closed under the bearish trap. We were over the trap before, but we're not now. We're over the 17, but we're under the bearish trap. We're kind of in a downtrend in that we've got a high up over here. Well, actually, we never pulled back to the low. So SPY on the daily chart still in an uptrend, all right, because we're not up over here. So SPY still in an uptrend, just not moving up, moving down. Actually, just moving down right here. So still in an uptrend, but in a pullback. So there's SPY on the daily chart. Because this low never got below the 17, okay? So on the weekly chart, you can see right here, weekly still in an uptrend, okay? See the candlesticks, the 3, over the 8 EMA, all right? So you see how you can see daylight in between the 3 and the 8. That's the yellow line and the white line. So that's the 3 EMA, that's the 8 EMA. This is the 17 EMA, these green dots. All of those riding up. See all the green dots? That's an uptrend. So back to the daily chart. Again, we're at the top of quadrant 4. So that's bullish, still in an uptrend. That's not moving up. All right? It was moving up today nicely, and then they lost quite a bit on that VWAP pullback. All right, so in an uptrend and up at the top of quadrant 4. So that's still bullish and in an uptrend right there. Okay, on the weekly chart, you can see the green dots, bullish, still in an uptrend. Nothing's broken on the daily or the weekly, okay? The 2 hour is clearly, was in a downtrend yesterday, kind of flattened out today, and then it kind of looks like it's resuming into a 2 hour bearish cross into the close, both with the pre-market on and the pre-market off. Monthly chart, see the green dots? Bullish and in an uptrend there on SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. All right, monthly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. You can see the green dots finishing at the top of quadrant 4. Weekly chart, same deal as SPY. Okay, here's the April low, bullish and still in an uptrend on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, still in a pullback here. So this is right here on QQQ, still bullish and in an uptrend, just not moving up, okay? So this would be a pullback in the uptrend. So there's QQQ. Got a lower high and a lower low, but we're closing underneath a bearish cross. See the 3 is crossing over the 8 EMA, so that would be a bearish cross. Because if we could see daylight there, we would still have a bullish trap. But because there's no daylight, that becomes a bearish cross. And we're closing, because we closed at the top of the green box right there. So we're closing under the bearish cross, but over the rising 17 EMA right there. So there's QQQ. Top of quadrant 4, that's still bullish. Okay, from the low up to the high. Bullish and in an uptrend on QQQ. Okay, I'm going to run through a 2 hour chart. Okay, 2 hour chart is still in a downtrend. See the 3 is underneath the 8 EMA. 2 hour chart still in a downtrend. 10-minute chart, clearly 10-minute downtrend. See, here's our VWAP pullback. So what we want to see is them make a higher low, and then we want to see the bulls get inspired to buy the dip and make a higher high, okay? The task for SPY today was to make the higher high. the task for Qs today was to make the higher high. The SPY did their job. The Qs, which is tech heavy, tech laden, and heavy, did not. So this, not so great news. But you look at the SPY, there's the high, and we made a higher high. So the SPY did their job. They got, task accomplished right there, making the higher highs. Back to the QQQ. See how they missed it right here? Okay, so maybe they're not done. We'll see. Okay, but here QQQ failed to make the higher high. So not a good sign for the QQQ. All right, so there's a 10-minute chart. Let's take a look at FNGU. All right, FNGU needed to make a higher high, and that was the high to beat right there. Clearly, they didn't get anywhere near their task. Okay, I was beginning to think we're looking fantastic for calls for tomorrow. Now I'm kind of rethinking it after looking at FNGU and QQQ, which are, tech heavy. Clearly not happening unless this higher low helps inspire the bulls to run up and make a higher high. So there's FNGU right there. Again, another lower high, and we don't even know about the low because we're not done. We're not done performing yet. All right, so that's FNGU. That's on the 10-minute. On the daily candle, lower high, lower low, closing underneath the bearish trap, and also underneath, see the 17 dots, 17 EMA, underneath the 17 right there. Okay, so we hit some minor support. I wanted to see a J hook out of here. They started the J hook, but clearly they lost a lot of it, leaving a candle with more wick than body and tail combined, showing me again bearish control on that daily time frame. So not so pretty there for tomorrow on FNGU. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow, higher low, higher high, closing over I got to do this. So the 8 EMA is 472.89. Okay. And the 3 EMA is 473. So the 3 EMA is above the 8 EMA. All right, making this a uptrend. Okay, so we closed over the bullish trap or the bullish cross. All right, and over the rising 17 EMA. And when it comes to quadrants, we're up here top of quadrant 1 and still in an uptrend on Diamond Dow. So FNGU on the daily chart. Remember, we hit minor support, lower high, lower low, closed under the bearish cross and underneath the 17 EMA. Okay, so not looking too good. This is the one we need right here. Diamond Dow is good, but not enough weight in those to carry the market much more in the FNGU. All right, so still in an uptrend, top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and still in an uptrend on Diamond Dow. IWM, right here, we got higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap and under the 17 EMA in the middle of quadrant 4, so that's bullish. Okay, and still in an uptrend. They haven't broke this low yet, but clearly not moving up. Today's candle looked good. Still a lot of ground to make up. All right, so It's in an uptrend that's not moving up currently. Okay, and they have the ability to recover it. You can see the size candles that they can put in when they're ready to go. All right, when they're ready to make investments. All right, you can see the green candles here. When they're ready to go, they can really go. All right, they're just not ready to go yet. Okay, it's either that or they're not interested. There's IWM. Okay, let's take a look at our technicals. No, let's take a look at gold. All right, gold for today. Got it going back in the right direction. Higher low, higher high. Closing inside a bearish trap, but underneath the 17 EMA. Okay, so still it's in a downtrend because they made a high here and a low here. So they got a lower low. So it's in a downtrend on gold, downtrend, but up there in quadrant 4. So that's bullish and in a downtrend currently right now. Remember, it's just a label. And then look at the bullishness right there. Okay, so they were overdue for a pullback. There's gold, downtrend, bullish in quadrant 4 up there. Let's take a look at silver. Okay, silver is still in an uptrend. Still in an uptrend on silver, but they got a higher low and a higher high. They closed inside a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. So they're in the middle of quadrant 4 right here. So that's bullish and still in an uptrend. That's clearly not moving up since making this all-time high right there. And they were well overdue for a pullback too. All right. So it may take a week or two for them to work it out before they start getting ready to make a trip back up there. So there's silver on the daily chart. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG was looking good yesterday. Today we've got I see daylight. So we've got a higher low and a lower high. So that's an inside day. And we're closing over the bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. So it's in an uptrend, but it's down here in quadrant 1, so it's still bearish. Even though it's in an uptrend, it's still bearish down here in quadrant 1. And look, they go up, they give it up, they go up, they give it up. All right, so don't trust this. It's not ready yet. Okay, they got a higher low and they made a higher high, so that puts them in an uptrend. But they're still down here in quadrant 1 until they show us they can hold the higher ground. Okay, that's what you want to see. That's what I want to see. So in an uptrend, but bearish, still in a downtrend in the quadrant 1 down here. So you can see that from the bigger perspective. All right, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is bearish. Lower third is bearish. Upper third is bullish. Lower third, so it's bearish right there. UNG. Let's take a look at USO. All right, USO today. With a lower high, lower low, closing underneath the bearish cross, underneath the 17 EMA, not in the lower third, not in the upper third, so just neutral, and still in an uptrend, but not moving up. Okay, they got themselves in an uptrend by making a higher high. They did it by pennies. Okay, and since making that high, they have not been moving up. They've just been moving lower. All right, so they're in an uptrend that's not working. All right, well, they're not working it right now. They're having a pullback. All right, but a little long in the tooth on the pullback. I mean, how long is this pullback going to go on for? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days long on a pullback off a 4-candle rise. It's getting a little long in the tooth in the pullback there. So again, this is another one that goes up and gives it up. Energy. This has not been the last 2 years, 12 months. The last 12 months, last 24 months have not been good for. Let me just say USO and UNG. Okay, because look at all the times they go up and they give it up. All right, They go up. They can't hold it for more than 4 days or 3 days. They go up, they give it up, go up, give it up, go up, give it up. Even they go down and they give it up, okay? They're just not ready yet, okay? So here they are back in the neutral zone right here on USO. All right, for the technicals, let's see if we can punch them in. Okay, T2101, notice price breadth, all right, participation. We went up today and participation came out of the market. So less participation when price came out of the market. That's T2101. All right, notice when price dipped lower, we had more participation. So clearly sellers are waiting to get engaged. Okay, that's T2101. Let's take a look at T2122. Oh, wow. This is new. All right, I did not expect this. Today we spent the day, half the day in the seller's chop zone, half the day in the buyer's chop zone, and we're holding the higher highs up here. So that is good news for the bulls in that price is holding the higher highs up here in the buyer's chop zone. So that's nice to see, as opposed to being in the oversold zone, which is exactly where I kind of expected us to be. Was in the sell zone, the oversold zone, or at least spending the whole day between the sell zone and the seller's chop zone. So nice work on T2122, holding the higher ground up here in the buyer's chop zone. T2123, still underneath the 200 SMA, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. We did not make any higher highs. All right, so we're still in a downtrend. We got a high rate here that pokes through. It's hard to see it. I'm not going to count it. All right, so still in a downtrend. All in all, you can see price goes down and over to the right. So I zoom way out. You can see this is the all-time high. Here's the pullback off of the all-time high. You can see we made a lower low because you can see daylight here. So we made a lower low, making this a new pullback low down here. And you can see price action got some bearish gaps that aren't getting filled. See right here's a bearish gap not getting filled, bearish gap not getting filled, another bearish gap not getting filled here, another one right here, another one right here. Just goes on and on. A lot of bearish gaps not getting filled by the bulls. So showing weakness on the bulls' part. Again, we're still in a downtrend. Actually, I would just call it bearish consolidation over to the right on the 15-minute chart. On the 3-bar chart, we got a high, we made a lower high. We've got a low, we made a lower low. So that puts us in a downtrend until we start making higher highs. Again, we're under the 200 SMA on the 15, and we're under the 200 SMA on the 3-bar. So again, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. Down here in the middle of quadrant 1, down here at the bottom of quadrant 1. So not my favorite place to be there either. So this is bearish from the short time perspective. If we look at it, here is the April low. There is the rally up to the all-time highs, and this is the pullback right there. So up here, quadrant 4 is bullish, but the bottom line, we need to be moving up, and we're not moving up. See how we move down and then over to the right, and then we linger here too long. You can see 2 weeks, and what happens is investors say, I don't want to be the last man standing when the music stops, so they begin to sell, and selling begets more selling, and hence you get a pullback in this uptrend right here, right off of the all-time highs. Okay, then we try to rally off of that up to the 200. Clearly, we can't hold the ground over the rising 200. And again, we spend 2 weeks, again, another 2 weeks up here. And what happens is investors get nervous, all right? And they say, again, they don't want to be the last man standing when the music stops again, all right? So you get selling, and then you get selling begets more selling, and hence now we're making a new pullback low from the all-time highs right here. Okay, so there's T21.23. That's how that works. FNGU, again, no higher highs made. Okay, so we're still in a 15-minute downtrend. Not making much of a move off of VWAP here. Still caught. Still didn't fill that bearish gap. Still caught underneath this. I'm going to call it a flat 200 now, because it's no longer moving up. A flat 200. We're underneath a flat 200, and we're still in a downtrend because we haven't made any higher highs. So there's FNGU. So not really showing us the juice that we need to see, unless of course this pans out to be a higher low and the bulls really get inspired tomorrow and produce a higher high. All right, so we'll see what happens. That's all happens tomorrow. All right, that's it for me for today. If you got any questions, thank you everybody that shared information that helped the room today. Appreciate that. Thanks, Brian. You have a great day as well. Thank you, Jim S. Hope you have an awesome day. All right. Thanks, Alan. Thank you, Brent. All right. Nice day for you. Well done, Brent. Let me just say, Brent did awesome today. Tex did awesome today. All right. Lot of winners here today. Okay. Trading, again, picking off the lows of those opening 10-minute candles. Tomorrow looks spooky, almost like Halloween, all right? I'm going to say I'm looking at a mixed bag. We made the higher high in SPY, but I'm not seeing kind of what I need to see in order to be inspired. So we'll see. Have faith? I do. I do have faith. Obviously, I kept my calls, so I do have some faith. And we'll see what happens. You can see I've got my Intel calls, and I'm holding 20 of the SPY calls for tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. I think the bulls come in and rescue the dip. I think they buy the dip, and we find ourselves consolidating over prior consolidation tomorrow. We'll see what happens, but that's what I think happens. All right. Okay, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll do it again. Don't forget, all my recordings are up here. Okay, if you're ever looking for them. I'm going to end this one now. Okay, and you can find them up here. You hit the hamburger next to the people. All right, come down to archives. You see recordings right here. So this will be the one for today. All right, this is one from yesterday. And then I went on this one from Halloween. And I haven't done one. I missed out on a week right here between the 23rd and Halloween right there. So this one's getting put together right now. Okay. So if you're ever looking for how I did when I opened up in the morning, it's all recorded. All right. You can see I pretty much do what I say I'm going to do. Sometimes I do get duped. All right. All right, traders. See you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Everybody have a beautiful evening.